Yes, it's finally happening. After I swapped the Digimon Adventure and Zero 2 partners, giving them new Digivolutions, after much request from you, on today's video I'm going to be swapping the Digimon Tamers partners and giving them brand new Digivolutions.
Happy Holidays!
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Khan's 12 videos of Christmas, and before we get started, I am incredibly excited because today's video is sponsored by Opera GX. You guys know I'm super particular about sponsors and don't just take any sponsor, so when Opera GX reached out to me, I was super excited because I actually use them and have been using them for most of 2021, because A, I'm an epic gamer, and B, because I spend so much time editing and researching, I need a browser that performs well for me. So even when I'm not gaming, Opera GX has what I need, including GX Control, which is a super useful feature. As you can see here, there is a hot tabs killer, as well as the network limiter, which is incredibly handy. Turn that on, and let's say you don't want your uploads and downloads from your browser affecting your gaming, you can turn that on and then specify what you want. So if you want to just do HD video, 3 megabits per second, and it will not go over that 3 meg upload, 24 meg download. There's also the RAM and CPU limiter, which again are incredibly handy, especially if you've got a smaller system and are trying to squeeze out as much as you can from them. But these limiters, especially the network limiter, are super handy for when you're playing games online. And also if you're doing things like streaming, you can ensure that your browser is not going to use up more network or RAM and CPU resources than you need. Another thing that's really cool about Opera GX is the customization options. You can have your own custom wallpapers. You can use a light theme if you like a light theme. I do not. The auto mode and the dark mode, as well as a bunch of inbuilt themes, as you can see here. I really like this Hackerman color. That's super cool. As well as, of course, your own custom wallpaper, even browser sounds and background music, which you can use, which again, if you're browsing a lot and you don't really want to listen to overly invasive music or whatever, Opera GX has got just music for you. And there is also GX Corner, which if you're a gamer is incredibly handy. First of all, it has a release calendar of just all the games. As you can see when I'm recording this, Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot are coming out, as well as Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX, which I will be streaming. But also GX Corner shows you where to get free games. For example, here you can get the Hunter and Duck Simulator 2, or things like Knockout City and Kingdoms of Amalur, which are currently free with PlayStation Plus. And of course, you can filter by which platforms you use. So for example, I use Windows, PlayStation, and Switch, and there you go. I can see all my free games for those platforms. And for an extra bit of cool, Opera GX also has a mobile browser, which integrates with the desktop version and allows you to browse on the go. It also has a lot of the same customization options and a lot of the features that the desktop version of Opera GX has. So yeah, use my link in the description to get Opera GX. It is totally free, and like, I highly recommend it. I legitimately have been using it way before they sponsored me, so this is amazing. It means the world that they would sponsor the channel, so it would mean the world in return if you would check it out and get that free browser. Like I say, it is legitimately really good. If you're a gamer, streamer, whatever it may be, it's a really good upgrade to existing browsers. Thank you so much to Opera GX sponsoring this video, and let's get on with the swaps. So yes, Tamers swaps, and I'll be honest with you, really struggled with this one, and that is why it's taken so long. Finding swaps that fit to the show somewhat and then finding new evos for them was really tough. As always, this is just my crack at these swaps, so if you have different ideas, please do subscribe, like, and in the comments down below, let me know your thoughts, your swaps, and your evos. Without further ado, let's begin with the first swap, and that is Takato and Henry. This swap just made the most sense to me, them both kind of being the male co-leaders in my head, and I could see it being that Takato draws Terriermon because he watched Hurricane Touchdown. Now, believe it or not, Terriermon is a dog, not a rabbit, and its whole evo line are dogs too. It only has those rabbit elements to match Lopmon, who is indeed a rabbit, and because of some dubisms like Bunny Blaster. And there are so few champion dogs that fit. Commandomon I heavily considered, but doesn't, I think, transition too nicely into a whole new line for Terriermon. Ultimately, I have settled on Terriermon to Gaugamon, then Mac Gaugamon, and Mirage Gaugamon, with Callismon as the Megidramon Dark Digivolution equivalent. Callismon is a bear rather than a dog, but we're very limited for appropriate dark megas, and I figured an evil beast still works here as the kind of dinosaur Guilmon line Dark Digivolve to the Dragon Megidramon. My caveat here is I would probably make these white variants of the Gaugamon line. I see these swaps happening in a kind of Tamers reboot season happening right now, and that is why Digimon from all seasons after Tamers are still appropriate and considered for this video. I do feel though that Mirage Gaugamon very much feels like a canine take on the Gallantmon concept, and of course has the humanoid feel of other Biomerge Evos. And now for Henry and Guilmon. I could see Guilmon in this version being a Digimon designed by Jianyu, but kept locked out of the Monster Maker's program as it was unstable and virus-like. As such, for its Evos, I have leaned into the X antibody, something which has a similar feel and plot utilization as the Digital Hazard. As such, the line would be Guilmon to Ginryumon to Hysariumon and finally Alphamon. It is a humanoid which would be great as a Biomerge like Mirage Gaugamon, but also Alphamon is a Royal Knight like Gallantmon. So the team would still have a Royal Knight, and that Royal Knight would still be the Guilmon Mega. I think that's kind of fun. And still hints at that darkness in the Digital Hazard, but of course Henry never Dark Digivolved his partner, so we wouldn't see a Dark Digivolution for Guilmon in this instance. The next swaps are Rika and Rio. These two rivals slash potential couple just seem too matched up not to swap. In this instance, I see Rio's Monodramon being one of the Digimon vying for Rika's partnership, and she ultimately chooses it over Renamon. As such, I see Monodramon to Kabukimon to Asuramon and finally Kuzuhamon. It's a bit of a cheat, and I really wanted to use Zambamon as the Mega because Zambamon can become Millenniummon, but ultimately to me Zambamon just didn't have the same feel as the other Biomerge Digivolutions, so I settled with Kuzuhamon, which is of course the dark variant of Sakuyamon. But I do think Kabukimon is a perfect melding of the traditional Japanese theme of Renamon's typical evolution line, plus it is an existing Monodramon evolution. Asuramon just continues that theme, going bipedal like Taumon, and Kuzuhamon is the dark version of Sakuyamon, as I said. I can definitely see Asuramon being somewhat unstable in this instance and having the possibility of becoming Millenniummon similar to Cyberdramon. And then Rio and Renamon. Rio comes through to this world chasing Millennium Monodramon and is dismayed to see Rika and it became partners. As such, I can almost see Rio and Renamon having a conversation of like, I think our partners picked wrong, and becoming partners for Tamers. Renamon has the whole no gender speech, but is gendered male in some territories. As such, I've lent into that here with Renamon becoming Lynxmon, then Flaremon, and finally Apollomon. I think Apollomon again works very well as a male Biomerge Evo, and the transition from Renamon to Lynxmon and then to the Apollomon line works nicely. I could of course use Pheramon in place of Lynxmon, but I think Lynxmon looks a little bit more like Cubimon, and honestly Pheramon is my least favourite in the Coronamon line. Our next pair to swap would be Jerry and Susie. Ooh, which way is the misery gonna swing? Antilamon would meet Jerry as a Deva, become her partner in a similar way to Susie, but perhaps recognising her bravery like Leomon did. It would revert to Lopmon before becoming Teruimon and dying.
Die, you commie fucker!
No. Yeah, this would mean we wouldn't get Cherubimon or even an Ultimate Antilamon again, but would make Takato and Jerry act as a kind of partner pair, which I think is fun, especially because they aren't directly swapping, but through these swaps still end up having Terriamon and Lopmon. Teruimon's death would spark Takato's Mac Gaugamon to Dark Digivolve to Calismon, and be perhaps even more pertinent because of Terriamon being Lopmon's twin. As for Susie and Leomon, Leomon gets to live! Yay! It of course wouldn't be a Deva, and so would just be a normal champion Digimon who helps them out in battles. Perhaps if needed for battle reasons, it could Digivolve to Grappleomon to match the ultimate level of Antilamon. And of course we had to swap the best bros Kazu and Kenta, but Kazu would get Marine Angemon at an earlier stage similar to the Andromon encounter. As such, I see the line being Tapirmon to Darkmon to Piximon and then Marine Angemon. I kinda like it Digivolving but devolving to a smaller and stronger form throughout the evolution line, and I also think in this new swap universe it would be a good time for Kazu to actually Digivolve his partner more and get to see finally a Mega for Kazu. And as for Kenta, I have given him Boltmon. Boltmon is actually one of the Megas that shows up to fight the D-Reaper, including Marine Angemon, and is a possible Mega form for Andromon, so I think it fit this swap amazingly. As with Marine Angemon, we would only see Boltmon and none of its previous forms. I just really like that Boltmon does show up as one of those potential Megas that I guess technically could have become Kenta's partner, and actually is a possible Mega for the Andromon line that we see a few examples of in different media. And finally, this is just a bit of fun really, but I'm gonna swap Iron Mako with Yamaki, because I always wanted Yamaki to be partnered with Impmon, and it would be really cool to see the Tamers Impmon become Wizardmon, then Balmon, and finally Beelzemon. But you may be thinking, Khan, Yamaki doesn't have a Digimon partner to give to Iron Mako. Correct. Fuck 'em. And that's my swaps for the Digimon Tamers, partners, and their new Evos. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on your own swaps or the Evos, or if you like my Evos and swaps, that would be really great to hear. Remember, these videos are just for fun, and of course I am not the be-all and end-all decider on what the definitive swap should be, so just have fun in those comments down below. Huge shout out once again to the sponsor Opera GX, amazing that they sponsored the channel, means the world, and to my wonderful sovereigns Andrew Sobel and ZDK, as well as my terrific Dava Knight 12, and everyone else for supporting the channel. Make sure you check out the 2 videos on screen right now. I love you all so much, and I'll see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.